worthwhile to stay up while living in Europe for any press conference in JPL or wherever it might be, because the moment Leonard David would come on and would pose his questions, a lot of stuff around, I'm talking the days of the Spirit and Opportunity rover, then suddenly would become clear to me, a non-biologist, a non-geologist. I learned so much from David. David made me think, you know, being a journalist must be really cool as well. Anyway, David, I hope you have the time to come up and give us your thoughts. Leonard David. Oh dear. Ah.
Hi.
He's being outfitted, I think. Here you are.
Hi. Thanks for the time here. I know I'm between you and lunch and book signings and everything else. My impression was, thank God there's roll bars on Mars, that's for sure. I have a book coming out with National Geographic. It's the kind of the technical and scientific side of the 6-part series that Paul was talking about, and I'm looking forward to your comments on the book because I learned a lot. I've been writing about Mars for quite a while, but I picked up quite a few things because we looked at the sociological, the anthropological, the technical side, the scientific, the astrobiology aspects of Mars exploration. And we try to capture that in the book. And let me just run through a couple things. And I'm going to go really fast here because I actually had I couldn't get it in the book. It was a newly declassified paper. And got that at the end of this, and I'm going to go through these very fast. The thing about Mars is it looks like someplace we've all been. I get that from emails from people when I write a story. Looks like somewhere I've been, probably. Where to land? Rick Davis did a good job on talking about the 50 or so sites now on Mars that we're actually going to attempt to gauge, and here are some of the sites. Is there water there? What kind of resources are available? Zoning on Mars, like it's coming. I think the one thing about this year is that this is one of the anniversaries of the Viking landing in '76. It's amazing to me, as old as I'm getting now, I remember this landing because it's the first time the first picture comes back and the guy yells, "There's rocks on Mars." Okay. But it was meant to search for life, and here we are asking the same question, is there life on Mars? The book gets into quite a bit of why that has become very difficult, and I won't tell you more than that, but there's some surprises in there in the book. Here we are from that Viking to Curiosity rover, a 1-ton vehicle now, alive and well. You go on the website and go to Mars every morning, which I do, to look for new imagery from the Curiosity rover. Here's rocks on Mars in the wheels. So there's some operational things that are being learned about driving around on Mars, and that's one of them, that they create holes in the wheels. So the Mars 2020 rover and all the other rovers, and it'll be going down on the surface. We've got to learn how to make better wheels. That's why I was very excited about roll bars on Mars. Kind of a new picture of a dust devil. I talk a lot about the environment of Mars, what we have to deal with. It's not a slam dunk. In fact, one of the things that I learned in doing the book is there's a dud factor, and that is doable under duress. This first mission is going to be very, very hard. Later missions make it a lot easier. And we keep forgetting that this is not a flags and footprints, and this is going to be a growth factor on Mars. So how the robots and humans work together is part of the saga. The search for life on Mars continues. Why is it continuing to this day? We spent billions of dollars trying to answer the question about life on Mars. Some Pat Rawlings pictures of some of the early concepts of what a facility would look like on Mars. Again, the growth factor here about the habitats and then moving out and having mobility. What are the astronauts and crew on expeditions going to use? Crops. It's, again, the potato head feeling of the Martian. It got a lot of people thinking about crops. So what kind of crops we're going to grow, what problems are there with perchlorates in the soil, these kind of things are going to be addressed in the book. Tumbleweed science stations that are unleashed, rolling across the surface. 3D printing, that was brought up today. I did a lot on, I asked some of the top experts on 3D printing, give me your vision. What do you really expect to happen? That's in the book, and I think you'll find it very interesting and entertaining about what the local resources can provide. I think you'll hear from Rob Manning, entry, descent, and landing. We got a ton rover on Mars, how difficult it is to get the big payloads down, the HABs, and all the other ancillary material and equipment that will make surviving on the planet, not only surviving, but thriving on the planet. And then we're all kind of got a new twist of the story, 2018 with Elon Musk thinking that, making the statements about Red Dragon and going to Mars and doing some supersonic retro propulsion. This is going to be a very important understanding for future payloads, not only by Elon, but by NASA. Who knows? Cities on Mars. I think Vera's here somewhere. I haven't met her, but there's a lot of interest in what cities on Mars would look like. What is the future projection? Couple minutes. I did get into some problems, Andromeda strain, that was mentioned today. Bringing back samples, their impact on people. The question of why, I did my best to give you in the book what I feel from listening to lots and lots of people about the why question. So let me tell you about the declassified. This was Leonard David going to Mars in the 60s. My mom called it a death trap. This was my HAB going to Mars. This was the external and internal workings of the habitat. Reverse vacuum cleaner for life support systems. This was the ingenious electrical design on the HAB. Again, this is 65. It's my friend Jerry. He was about as crazy as I was to go to Mars, so he helped me build this thing. The point was, you get inside. I lived in it for 12 hours. Jerry lived in it for 24. We made breakthrough science. Here I am with more hair, by the way, and with the instrument panel. We fashioned it after the Vostok capsule. And you'll see the recycling urine cup there. Here I am taking notes about I can't breathe in here. There's the back of the instrument panel. And we had an airlock, so we could have food going back and forth. Anyway, that was my trip to Mars, and from that experience of living in a box for 12 hours, I became a journalist. So thank you very much.